Welcome to Pacific Beach, better known to local residents as PB, one of the most vibrant oceanfront neighborhoods in San Diego, California. Established in 1887, PB was primarily rural until the 70s, when the California beach culture started to thrive. For the past few decades, PB has been home primarily to college students and temporary residents. Now, with a population of over 40,000, there has been a dynamic shift as more young professionals and entrepreneurs move in. These demographic changes have created a new demand for modern bars, restaurants, alternative fitness, and the proverbial farmer's market. My name is Shareef. I moved from New York City to Pacific Beach over 12 years ago looking for a lifestyle change. I'm passionate about discovering new food trends, exploring landmarks, cities, and cultures around the world. My goal is to create a film platform to discuss changes in emerging neighborhoods worldwide. Come join me in this adventure as we explore PB and the changes it has gone through over the years. On my way to get coffee to start the day, I run into a buddy of mine, Jake, who's finishing his morning surf session. He's the CEO of a local tech company. I'll catch up with him later. I make my way to Second Nature Cafe to meet the owner, Eddie, a Chicago native who came to visit Pacific Beach in 2004 and never left. I sit down and chat with him about the humble beginnings of his restaurant and how he has seen PB change over the last decade.
Let's rewind back to 2004 was when actually I signed the lease on the property, and we opened in March 2005. And you know, the neighborhood at the time was still a lot of, if you looked at a 6,000 square foot lot, you know, there's usually 4 to 6 people living on that lot, you know, and there was a lot of density at the time. Rents were still reasonable compared to what they are today. A heavy surf community. A lot of students and a ton of people living in the neighborhood who were in the hospitality business. That was really the demographic at the time. Fast forward to 2018, and there's a single family living on that same lot now. There's a tear down, a new home. You're seeing a lot of strollers, a lot of babies, professionals, and our rents are double. When we first started, we were able to lease a small space. Let's call it 900 square feet, and just be a coffee house with pastries, have 2 or 3 employees, and be able to make ends meet. But as we've seen a lot of pressure on minimum wage, over the last decade, pressure on rents, which is the number one, capital expense for us as operators. You can no longer get away with just being a coffee shop with pastries. It was changing the menu for survival, because we had to get a bigger ticket item, to be able to increase our margins, to be able to pay our rents, pay our labor, so on and so forth. And then from there, what it started shifting into, like, wait a second, look at the clientele who's not coming in here and spending $1 for a coffee. They're spending $10, $15 for a sandwich. They're in a suit. They're driving a nice car. I mean, so it's things started to kind of shift a little bit. If you look at our clientele, they're from the Pacific Northwest, so they're from the East Coast, Midwest, Chicago. These are, a lot of people that have moved to the area because of their profession, whether it's biotech, telecom, military. Big time. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of self-starters is what we see. And just people that are really looking for that work-life balance. You just saw a lot of professional conversations. You saw a lot of couples on date night. You saw a lot of reunions. And it was something that can't really happen in the coffee shop environment, but it was happening in the evening. We dim the lights, nice stemware, bring out great food, and it was really, really fun to get that part of the business going. So what you're seeing in the area is an elevated level of income, to be able to support the lifestyle here. So that's where a lot of our businesses are having to adapt. If you look at the new businesses that are opening up, they're, the operators are spending tremendous, making huge capital contributions to develop their properties, to attract that clientele, to give that clientele what they want. It took me 5 years to fight for a beer and wine license because I thought that the natural evolution there, after doing some travel abroad, is to be that European cafe. So you're a coffee house in the morning, and then you turn into a wine bar at night. There is a huge community behind the beer community, and there's a huge culture that's developed there, as well as the wine in California. California is the wine mecca of the United States.
Yes, I went to France.
know?
They told me the same thing.
Yeah, so yeah, sure.
After our chat, Eddie recommends I check out Volaire Pole Studio next door. You guessed it, this is pole dancing. Let's find out how this all started with the studio owner, Maddox.
Pole originated from men,
Okay.
believe it or not, back in like the 15th or 16th century in China and India.
Yeah.
So India, it's called Malakam. It literally means wrestlers of pole. And these were wrestlers that were on, like, running and jumping on a wooden pole to increase strength, dexterity, flexibility, and speed. And then you got China. Chinese pole is still around today. It's there's like a rubber cover that goes around a pole.
Okay.
And they more like monkey step up the pole, like with their toes and stuff, and they do flips and tricks and crazy stuff. Pole dancing actually didn't hit the strip clubs until the 1960s in the U.S.
Wow, so that's
So think about the 15th and 16th century to now, and how, we've had almost 60 years of just hitting one aspect of life, and that's the only thing it's associated with.
Wow.
My first couple of classes I taught, I really didn't know what I thought about that. I was really on the fence. I was like, I mean, I'm not teaching like hardcore things.
Yeah.
I'm just teaching girls to feel better about themselves and getting excited that they're learning something I love to do. It builds a different mentality. If I get a client that comes in here and tries it and does not like it, leaves and doesn't come back, at least they tried it. But none of these things are easy. I'm not somebody that likes easy. So I like something that's a challenge, right? So like people live for the chase, right? So you want to live for that chase. And if you challenge yourself, if you start that journey into yourself, right? You begin it, you're going to see so many things you didn't think you were capable of doing. My goal, like with this studio, with everything that we do here, is not only cross-train people that come in as clients that just come in to take pole for, I love pole dancing. I want them to try silks. I want them to touch everything we have here, because I want them to learn the ability and move outside that comfort zone and see what they're actually capable of. Not just on this, not just on this, not on any single thing, but on everything. Because you don't know something until you try it, right? And this is just as artistic and graceful and hard and challenging and beautiful as this.
I like yoga, but this is far more interesting. Love the alternative exercise options that are now available right here in Pacific Beach. I head out next to meet up with Jake, the CEO of a tech company called Treeline Interactive. I saw him surfing earlier this morning before coming into work. Now that's cool. I wonder what motivated an entrepreneur like him to set up a high-tech company in this beach neighborhood of San Diego.
Well, I mean, I think people move to San Diego because they enjoy the lifestyle, the outdoors, and the beach is the epitome of San Diego. So if you're going to try and attract the top talent and really engage people in a place that they love to work, why not be at the beach versus in an office park up the street? We started originally doing a lot of web and interactive. Over time, that evolved into mobile, and then from mobile it evolved into hardware integration and the Internet of Things. So we do a lot of projects relate to connecting physical devices, vehicles, manufacturing, even things in entertainment into the digital world.
You've lived here at this Pacific Beach area over the last, 10 years or so. What have you seen changes here?
It was definitely a lot slower before. I think it's expanded in terms of the overall type of restaurants and atmosphere and businesses that live around here. So that's been great for the community. Rent's gone up in the area, which is natural. Home prices have continued to go up, which is natural, but at the same time too, a lot of people that are purchasing the properties often live in Arizona or somewhere else, and then are renting them out full-time as Airbnb businesses. I obviously believe in technology progress, but at the same time, it's a fine line, right? When people are taking advantage of the laws and then also changing how the community works, it's kind of disappointing. without locals, without people that live here, it's hard to have people that care about the roads, people that care about, the appearance and the things that are happening, except for those, few weeks a year that are really big holiday seasons.
I mean, tourism is great for business. Don't get me wrong. San Diego is a massive destination for tourism, but the small local communities that, the beach culture, you think those are getting mainly impacted a little bit at a time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen people get pushed out. I mean, part of what I've loved about living down the street here is that I can hop on my skateboard on a Saturday and go down a couple courts and then stop into someone's house without calling and then stop over at the next house, the next place, and just see what people are doing and what's going on.
Like a real neighborhood feeling to it, right?
Yeah, but you have Santa Monica, you have Venice Beach, both of which, have exploded in terms of the technology community and allow those areas to evolve into the next generation of what's going to happen. And that's bought up a lot of land, that's changed how those communities interact, and I see that happening here as well. I mean, especially with Garnett. I mean, Garnett's a place that, years ago was just bars and college students. And now as technology has exploded within San Diego, people want to live in a true San Diego environment and work there too.
Oh, yeah.
So while downtown's nice and, up the street in Sorrento Valley definitely have a lot of spaces available, if you're really going to attract talent and pull people out of the Bay Area and even Los Angeles and from around the world, you need something that's truly unique and appealing.
And I understand you've opened up another kind of like a conference room around the corner. What's that all about?
We have this space right here over on the bay.
Got it.
That's about 4,000 square feet, indoor, outdoor. We can set up classroom sessions, team building sessions, or whatever it might be, so that we can take advantage of the environment of the bay and also have a little bit more space for people to collaborate and work together.
Oh, perfect. Can't wait to check it out.
Yeah.
Per Jake's recommendation, I check out his sister company called The Point, located right on the bay. I meet up with Casey, who runs this high-tech corporate event space. It's places like these that are attracting a new demographic of young professionals to Pacific Beach.
We kind of consider ourselves our own category. Like I mentioned earlier, we're a smart space where we promote innovation and creativity. So this is where you go if you really want to bring your team to have, an experience. Everything's modular, so this can be moved around. Right now, we're in a classroom setting. We can produce a round table, we can do clusters, we can do breakouts. If it's a party, we can do a cocktail party. Don't worry, you'll be invited.
I'd like to be on that cocktail party.
We also try and make sure that people feel connected to nature. So beyond our raw tables, we also have our living chandelier as well as other plants around. And the idea is we want you to be
a living
inside.
Chandelier. So tell me a little bit about this living chandelier.
So we built this to kind of give you the feel of it, as if you're outdoors and there's plants around, but obviously you're in an indoor controlled environment where you can be productive.
Yep.
So this goes up and down based on what we want to do. We water it, we can decorate it at times, kind of depending what's happening. But this is definitely one of our iconic features here.
So Casey, this looks pretty futuristic over here, right? I'm just kind of touching this. What is this?
This is our touchscreen display. So clients can project any kind of information they want to share with their guests.
Okay.
Or demonstrations, websites, pretty much anything that a computer can show, we can show on here.
Wow, so just like a computer on a screen, very much like Minority Report looking like over here. I like it. So you can kind of play around with it. Oh wow, that's cool. Thank you for the great tour. I love this place, outdoor patio, indoor. This is a phenomenal concept. Never thought this was available in Pacific Beach area here. And I think that's really part of the whole story that we're talking about.
It's lunchtime. Hungry for some tasty chow, I skate to Costa Brava, an authentic Spanish restaurant located in the heart of Pacific Beach. I'm greeted at the bar by its creator Javier, who opened this unique place decades ago. I asked why he chose PB when the local population back then was mostly college students looking for burgers and burritos.
People were eating what was available. It wasn't so much that was their first choice, it was their only choice. So
That's interesting.
it was my situation too in most cases. Settle for that stuff. Just add some variety and people love good meat, good fish, good vegetables, good wine, well-made drink.
Oh yeah, and sangria is, I love this thing.
It just works great with the weather here. It's fantastic. It's hard to duplicate Spain, places like Barcelona, like Madrid, like Sevilla. They're pretty special, and the ingredients there are special. The oils, the salts, the flours, things that just make then the proteins or the veggies even that much better. The menu We've worked on it, over the last 15 years.
The wine
Got it to a
selections.
point, the wine selection, all wine from Spain. All the beers that we have here from Spain. Gotta be one of the few places that doesn't have Ballast Point.
Yeah.
San Diego. So that's, if you find that fun for the day, come and join us.
After chatting with Javier, I sit down for lunch with my friend Andy, who's lived in PB for over 10 years. He owns vacation rental properties in the neighborhood. We try some tasty Spanish food and exchange thoughts on gentrification.
I'm getting really hungry, dude. So let's dive into this stuff. So it looks like we got over here, I don't know if you've had this before, and it's one of the secrets of the menu. It's the actual baby eel in Spain. I think the texture of them are very much like, I don't know, spaghetti-ish is the best thing I could say almost. And that over here, this is like the Spanish octopus, and the way I think they've done it is they tenderizes it, and it's got like paprika and everything else in it. Just quite amazing, I think. Try it, see what you think.
Oh wow, it's really tender.
Right? And then try the baby eel. Tell me what do you think. Does it taste?
Not what I thought.
Exactly.
No. That's
really good, huh?
Really garlicky spaghetti, like meaty spaghetti.
Right. That is the only way I could describe it. Gentrification around the country is a hot subject, right? Are we displacing, the cool surfer guys and beach moms, and what's happening? Do you think it's going to change the culture of the entire Pacific Beach? Is it bad? Is it good? You can be frank about it.
Probably our parents growing up, or not even our parents, but like our older siblings, like their ideal, their dream would be like a nice big McMansion in suburbia. That's what they want. Yeah. That's like what they aspire to. That doesn't really suit us anymore. It's like you want safe, fun, walkable stuff, plenty at your fingertips, active, activities. You kind of want everything. Last week, me and a neighbor took our kids. The wives were doing other stuff, you know, so we're on daddy duty. A couple beers, a couple glasses of wine, got the kids some pizza. It's as much fun as you can have with 4 kids that are all under 3 years old.
That's awesome. Like, I think it exposes this different style of upbringing of children, right? As opposed to traditionals like stay at home, do the suburbia.
It still fits me because I'm now older, I've got a family. I still like the beach and the walkable community and everything it has to offer. But I feel like it's been well timed for me because when I came here in 2010, I wanted one thing, and then the beach area kind of changed to accommodate me 7 years later. It's more gentrified, safer, a lot more restaurants and cool things to do, not just taco shops and tattoo places.
This is the braised rabbit, conejo, la cazadora, and the oxtail. Braised oxtail in red wine sauce.
Nice. That looks absolutely amazing. This is the traditional rabbit stew from Spain, and really it's pretty rare to find these things. And you want the sauces. The sauce and the potatoes are freaking out of this world.
Cool. That's delicious.
What would you say it tastes like? Chicken.
While the cook in the back cracks up on my chicken joke, I asked Andy a serious question. Any negative impacts on the community?
There's been a change in sense of community, right? And a sense of close-knit neighbors and such.
Yeah.
And I think people point the finger at the short-term rentals as kind of a scapegoat or low-hanging fruit. 10 years ago, there was 4 motels here, right? That doesn't attract family reunions for residents in Arizona and Nevada. Right. But now you got all these vacation homes available. You have a giant influx of vacationers willing to spend money at nice restaurants.
Right. And that would obviously uplift the community, if anything, because there's more business out here.
A lot of people coming in, investors, right? Part-time resident, really wealthy, kind of elite residents. Yeah. These are all sorts of people that aren't planting roots, raising families, and really becoming intimately involved in their communities. But there's no going back, right? The desirable neighborhoods will be gentrified. Yeah. Desirable neighborhoods will have short-term rentals, as part of the new reality, right? So regardless if it's good and bad, and the reality is it's good and bad in different ways, right?
Different ways,
regardless, there's no real sense of nostalgia of going backwards because we're not going backward.
As I skate through Garnett Street, I'm reminded that this community has changed from the humble beginnings of a quiet coastal town into one of the more desirable beach neighborhoods in San Diego. By the way, did you know that the east and west streets of Pacific Beach are named after precious stones? Sapphire, turquoise, opal, emerald, tourmaline, you get the drift. Seems like all the places I'm checking out today are jewels of Pacific Beach, unique and precious. Trying to get a different perspective, I meet up with Julie, a resident of Pacific Beach. She came from Northern California to attend college in San Diego, where PB became her social scene. She joined the corporate world after graduation and decided to move here.
Julie from Jewel Street? You live on Jewel Street?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
It's kind of a coincidence, especially since my mom calls me Jewel on the regular.
Right.
So I'm now actually an HR professional. I keep my work and my personal life pretty separate. And it's always nice to come home to PB after that. When I was in college, this was the fun, hip spot to go to. I would come out here with my friends. It was just when Uber and Lyft were starting and all of the rideshare services, so we were able to utilize that, which was perfect for us. We would come over here and we would go out, and the first question you would ask when you meet people is, what college do you go to?
Yeah.
That was the immediate question because you knew that this was where the young people were. You knew that majority of the crowd was in college. And now I can think of probably just 5 places off the top of my head that have changed or closed in PB. And some of them have been replaced, and the crowds are just different now. You can definitely see it. There's a lot less college kids there. You don't see as many crazy party people that are shot after shot after shot. You see a lot more people that are hanging out in their groups and not necessarily there meeting new people because they're all in a new city. It is their city, and they have their groups. So part of the reason I think is also because rent's been going up a lot too since I first moved here 6 years. 6 years ago, I would say it's $500, $600 for a room in PB, and now it's gone up to $1,000 for a room, if not more. It's nice for me and where I am in my life because I feel like I've gone with the flow of what's happening here. I experienced it when it was a lot of college kids, and now that it's a little bit more of young professionals, I fit that category. And so it's working to my advantage, but I don't know if it's necessarily the best thing for Pacific Beach.
Yeah.
I don't
Pushing
think...
out a lot of people that can't pay the rent.
Exactly.
Next, I decided to check out the local market in Pacific Beach. You know gentrification's for real when a farmer's market pops up in the neighborhood.
How you doing?
Hey man, good to see you again. I come to farmers market all the time. I freaking love this place over here. I feel like this is my one-stop shop for meat and food, poultry and lamb and everything else in here. The chicken here actually tastes like chicken to me.
Exactly. What the animals eat is really what's going to happen with the quality of the product.
Yep.
And so that's what's most important to us. We are certified humanely raised, so the life of the animal is really what comes above all.
Very cool.
A happy animal is a tasty animal in our opinion.
Of course.
Because we want everyone to get those amazing clean products that are grass-fed, that are free of any antibiotics, hormones, steroids. This is an example of one of our, best tasting steak items. This is a beef tomahawk steak, also known as a cowboy steak. It's technically a single bone prime rib that has been Frenched. It's a typical about 1 to 3 servings, depending on who's going to be eating it, of course. But these are really great, especially if you want to treat someone special. This is that kind of.
I'll hit him over the head with a tomahawk
Most
steak.
definitely. This is Flintstone steak right here.
And then you've got several different types of eggs over here.
So we have different tans. I get some green eggs. Sometimes I have blue as well.
I like it. Not all eggs look alike, right? So this is obviously a different color egg, which is
Usually
really unique.
what I like to tell people is they're just like us people. We come in different colors and sizes, but actually once you break them open, they're exactly the same.
This is my cheese guy, Elliot. He sells amazing cheese from around the world. Let's taste some of them.
I'm a personal chef, and I work in a high-end restaurant most of my life. And those are the pieces of cheese we normally serve in a high-end restaurant. The most unique one I have, which is one of the best sellers, is a coconut gouda. It's Dutch. It has been released last year, middle of last year. It's a gouda mixed with organic coconut cream.
Wow, that just sounds delicious.
It's highly addictive. I do have a Dutch, Swiss, French, English, Spanish. Most of the goat cheese and sheep's cheese I carry come from Spain. because they're really good in those two products. And the most popular goat, Spanish goat I do have, called pata cabra. Pata cabra means leg of goat. Pata cabra.
Wow. This has like kind of like feta cheese crumble.
It looks like a feta cheese. Right? Feta cheese is normally too softer than this one. This is compressed, and this is a 6-month-old.
That tastes amazing, actually. Wow.
We do have the mimolet is back.
Yep.
Mimolet was banned in US last year due to the way the cheese is processed. It's French. It's a cave age. So once the cheese is boiled, put in a cave, and put a termite around the cheese. So all the little hole on the cheese is created by
termites?
Termite, yeah.
Wow. So they're like aging the cheese?
They age the cheese, and the termite all go around the cheese and they eat around the cheese.
Oh, so that's kind of controversial. That's why it's like...
That's the reason it was banned, but for no reason, they released the ban. Now we all can enjoy the mimolet in US.
Hey, that's
Madame?
amazing.
Mimolet.
I love that cheese. So that kind of brings me to my other question, right? Pacific Beach, college students, really, like not very highly sophisticated cheese taste.
Basically, you don't have to be well educated to enjoy the good cheese.
Yep.
You just need a little knowledge about the cheese and how it's made, and more likely be exposed to the cheese. Because most of the time when people are getting exposed, they tell, wow, I didn't know you can have this type of cheese and this and that. And so that's the way it works. At the end of the day, once they are well exposed to the cheese, they end up liking it because it's
and they become like me, just coming here every Tuesday to try new stuff.
Finally, I stopped by to talk to Jason, the fish guy. He's about to show me some of his fresh goods.
Our best seller is this king salmon, and it's from Vancouver, Canada. It's sushi grade salmon, and for salmon to be sushi grade, it just needs to be very fresh. And it needs to have a fat content like this piece does. Any salmon that's very fatty and buttery is going to be good for sashimi because it's just going to have a great velvety, rich, buttery texture and flavor.
I've had it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, but then we also have some local fish like this bluefin tuna, which is coming out of San Diego right here. And this is also sushi grade. You know, this is it's a little bit leaner fish, and as you can see, it's like kind of falling apart already, which just means it's got that nice buttery texture and very soft, delicate texture.
It's definitely one of the best cuts of tuna. I like toro, but I like bluefin better because it's kind of like meaty filet mignon-ish type of
That's
fish.
exactly right. Yeah, the bluefin is the loin, which is this piece, is kind of more of a filet mignon. It's leaner, and then the toro, coming from the belly of the fish, sort of like the ribeye. It's very rich and fatty, buttery.
I see a lot of oysters over here too.
Yeah, these
so you got
oysters.
Fresh oyster over here.
Yeah, these are Pacific oysters. These are actually coming from Carlsbad, right up the street.
Wow.
So they're really fresh. They're pulled out of the water today.
Okay.
And they're still alive. You can tell that they're alive because they're closed still. When they open, they'll lose all of their juice, and then they're not as flavorful or as tasty anymore.
Awesome, awesome. And then you have fresh octopus over here, am I saying?
Yeah, this is coming from Santa Barbara. This is a whole octopus. It's just wrapped up in a ball right now, but it's got the tentacles and everything.
Okay.
This is great for boiling. This makes really good ceviche and poke.
Man, I love octopus, by the way. So what are the demographics are you seeing?
It's actually a pretty big mix. We've seen a lot of college kids actually are finally getting into the idea of healthy food. And Pacific Beach is a coastal area, so people are kind of familiar with fish. And they're not so scared to cook fish like some people further inland might be.
All right, Jason, so thank you very much for your time. I love the fish over here, and I'm just going to come here every Tuesday and get my sushi on.
As another beautiful day comes to a close, I'm feeling hungry for a bluefin tuna. While walking on Garnett Street in Pacific Beach, I stopped by one of the best sushi spots in the neighborhood called Izakaya. I meet the owner and chef Ray and ask him about the origins of the restaurant's name.
You know, we're the first izakaya in Pacific Beach. Izakayas are pretty much all over the place. It means like a sake house, and traditionally it's a place where people go after work with their coworkers and just wind down and have some drinks, and it's basically a Japanese pub. I like the fact that at izakaya people just come and sit down and they'll stay there for a couple hours. It's not like they're in a hurry to eat and fill up and go. You know, they like to sit down and take their time. And
you want to create some great food. You want people to enjoy it, and that's just really part of your nature.
Right. This is my favorite kind of tuna. It comes from the Mediterranean. and it's fresh. So a lot of people use frozen tuna, super frozen tuna, but I get the tuna in fresh, flown in. You know, in the beginning when I first opened, a lot of the customers were kind of more college, younger kids, and then my menu was more directed towards that kind of clientele because I was in PB and I figured, you know, who's going to spend that much money on a premium
Right,
stuff here,
right. Especially bluefin tuna, it's not cheap.
Right. But at the same time, I've been making sushi for over 20 years, and you know, I've just been practicing to you know, make the best sushi that I can possibly make using the best ingredients. So.
Thank you for the description of this amazing food over here, but looking at it, I just want to eat it right now. Yeah, it's like a melee of, you've got mackerel, you've got octopus, and you got ikura, and you got the toro. So I'm going to try the toro up
Yeah,
first.
go for it. Yeah, look at
Toro,
that.
I don't think you actually need any soy sauce at all.
I put soy sauce, but you can do what you want. You know, it's your piece
I'll
of
put
toro.
a little bit of it.
Me, I'm gonna put a little bit of I'll just put a little piece of wasabi, you know, and I'll just put that right there, and then.
That is amazing, guys. And then, so this is the octopus, correct?
That's the octopus right there.
And so you cut the ridges out over here to make it.
Gives a little texture rather than just a one smooth kind of like flat surface. Because then, when when it's on your tongue, you can kind of get like the you feel what you're eating.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and right next to this right here too is this is our homemade
Ginger?
young ginger. So
that should clear up my palate a little bit. No.
And it tastes a lot better than regular,
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the future? What are you looking to do after this?
So I made a company called Sensi Chef with my partner Heather. It's going to be cannabis infused private chef catering events.
Wow.
It's more, it's directed more towards an upscale clientele. Yeah, and it's also not only is it recreational now, but it's also has a lot of medicinal and therapeutic values too. So this is one of the oils I made here. It's made out of all organic pistachio oil, and I'm just going to drizzle some onto these rice crackers that we make in-house here, and try some. It's actually really good. So it's really light, but it's you don't taste that the marijuana.
The marijuana or anything like that in there.
The process that I use to make it.
Yeah.
It's called decarboxylating it. So that's when I heat it up to a certain temperature before actually cooking with it and extracting the THC out of there.
That's pretty amazing. I think I can't taste anything but the pistachio oil in there.
You can tell me an hour later how you feel.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
It's near the end of the night, so I circle back to Second Nature for one more chat with Julie, Andy, and owner Eddie. I'm really excited to try their menu and taste some of their beer and wine selections. What do we got over here, Eddie?
I have to go straight to the carrots. So we have the carrots here. We have the cauliflower, which is here. You can't go wrong with any type of a breaded cauliflower. Right here we have the grilled maitake mushrooms with the mash, unbelievable, and the grilled maitakes are. I don't know. I know you love to cook, Shareef.
I love to cook, but any kind of mushroom is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have our version of the eggplant parmesan where the noodles are actually spiralized zucchini underneath, and that's a great dish as well. So it's like we started with the vegan vegetarian concept, take care of our omnivore friends, and ultimately we eat with our eyes, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to create beautiful dishes that pair well with wines and beers, and I think it's been pretty well received.
It's helping you transition from college life to this with the fact that you're we all party in college, man. I've done shots. I think my diet was like shit in college. It was basically late night Taco Bell and KFC, whatever you want to call it.
I'm drinking kombucha beer.
You're drinking kombucha beer.
That was not that was not my choice.
Cheers to that one. That's interesting. Kombucha.
That was. Do you want to try it? Because you're empty. Have you had something like this? Please.
So let me kind of switch gears. To kind of talk to you guys. Actually, it's for all you guys to understand, kind of get an idea of
what's changing in Pacific Beach as far as like kind of like the whole, you know, the gentrification topic. I hate to say gentrification, but because that's kind of could be a good or bad. My idea is to get your opinion on why it's good or why it's bad.
I definitely have an opinion about that because I really, truly feel bad for the people that have been driven out.
Okay.
I feel like I'm very fortunate enough to have found a job after college and have been able to stay here.
It's one of my biggest frustrations, you know, with this area.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the downfalls of gentrification is as these neighborhoods really start to develop. The number one cost that goes to the roof is the real estate.
It's about a living wage because the people who are being kicked out of here, and the reason that things like that across the nation, every city is being gentrified. New York, Chicago, whatever it is, it's becoming like a spot to go to. Like North Park used to not be hip, and PB used to just be a surfer town, right?
No, but to speak to your point, like it's always been cool, but the cool has changed, right? Like now people expect more. They want more than pizza and tacos. They expect everything at their fingertips. And so a successful person is no longer cool living in a chill, relaxed area. They want the buzz. They want the options. So a successful person now wants a high demand area with a view and some nice restaurants around.
Got it.
So that's why PB has changed, right? So beach bums have moved on, they've been pushed out, and they're replaced by people that expect more, want a view, and have the money to pay for it.
After an amazing meal, I wrap up my night at Second Nature and head home. We have spent an entire day exploring the unique jewels of Pacific Beach. The changes in PB are similar to what's happening in several neighborhoods across the country. Is gentrification a positive cultural shift? Ironically, in the course of shooting this documentary, I became part of the story. The place I rented for 12 years will now be demolished to be rebuilt most likely as a vacation rental. I learned one thing for certain: you can't stop change. My name is Shareef. Come join me on the next adventure as I explore other emerging neighborhoods worldwide.